Hi, I am Jenny Del Pozo, your iFit trainer, and today I have a yoga flow series for you for tight backs. So we're going to be using your yoga blocks today, and then go ahead and meet me on the mat for cat-cow. Bring your shoulders right over your wrists, and then your hips right over your knees, and the feet are just hip width apart right here. And then from here, take a nice inhale. And then on your exhale, start to round through your spine, tucking your tail underneath you. Pull your ribs up towards the sky. And then arch and reach in the other direction on your inhale. Heart up, tail up. And again, inhale. And then exhale, arch and reach. And we're talking about tight backs today. Keep going here. And so a lot of the times doing flexion, that rounding of the spine is where that back can pull easily. So you might not round too much today, or maybe it feels good to kind of open up in that back and then arch and reach up. Listen to your body throughout this entire flow today and see where you can take it. Go for one more right here. Wrap those arm bones around, press the tops of your feet down into the mat as you pull the ribs away. Let that head hang heavy. And then reach the heart and tail back up towards the sky, opening up that heart. And then meet me in a nice neutral spine right here. So the back is going to stay nice and long, and we go for your bird dog stretch next. So you're going to reach one arm out in front of you, and then float the opposite leg back behind you. Hold that. Feel the abs pulling in and up. And then from here, you're going to pull the elbow to the knee, knee to the elbow. So you pull everything in towards center. Hold it there. Try to really press both into each other and then pull them both up towards your chest. And then reach everything back out in your way. And again, you pull everything in. Abs are pulling in, and then reach it back out. Now, before we get into these big stretches in the spine, I like to warm up that core, warm up that back a little bit. And that's exactly what we're doing with this first sequence here. Elbow to knee. And reach it. Go for two more here. And reach. Last one. And reach it. Hold it out there. Hold it right there. Now reach the limbs, the arm out to one side and the leg out to the other side. And then you pull everything back to center. And again, reach out to the sides and back in. Feel how that back has to stay nice and still and stable, and those abs are turning on to help you here too. Two more. Last one, reach and in, and then bring everything down. Sit back into a quick child's pose right there. Let the wrists go, let the shoulders go. And then come all the way back up, and we go to that second side for bird dog. So reach the opposite arm out, and then reach that opposite leg back. Hold it right there. Make sure that hip is facing down towards the floor still. And then from there, you pull that elbow to knee, and then reach it back out. And bend in. Pull those abs in towards that spine, and reach it. And reach. Again, three more. See if you can get that thigh bone closer towards your chest. Go for two. Last one. Reach it out, hold it out there. Now everything reaches away from center and then back to center. And away and in. Feel that core staying nice and strong. Reach, keep pressing your chest away from the floor. Go for three more. Two. Last one. And then lower it down and sit back into that child's pose again right there. And then carefully round yourself up, and you're going to lie onto your back next. So we're going to go for a tick-tock. So again, warm up the core, get a little rotation in your torso happening, and get that back moving. So you get to lie onto your back. I'm going to move my blocks just slightly out of the way. And then bring your legs up to a tabletop position. So to make sure that we're being cautious of the spine here, bring one leg up to tabletop, feel the abs pulling in and up, and try to pull your ribs down towards the mat, and then float your other leg up to tabletop. That's always gonna be the most supportive way to slowly bring it up and make sure you're protecting your spine. Now reach the arms out to a T. Press your palms down into the floor. From here, keep the knees glued together. You reach the legs over to one side. The opposite hip will lift, and you're trying to stretch the knee over. See when you can keep the knees together, how that'll give you a stretch in that low back. And then you come back to center. And then over to the other side, trying to keep those knees glued together. Really reach that opposite hip and back to center. And again, reach. Try to press those inner thighs together. And back to center. And reach. Feel those obliques have to hold on to those legs. Back to center. Last one. And over. And back to center and hug those legs in. Rock it side to side a little bit. That rotation in our spine is so good for us. We don't get a lot of it, so that's, again, a nice, easy way to start to open up and get that rotation in right there. Okay, now from here, we're gonna come up to standing and work a couple of areas that I think are the trickier ones to work into when you're doing anything where your back is tight and this forward folding. So easily, when we forward fold, we can start to just pull into the back and really feel that rounding and pulling there. When we're supposed to forward fold, it's more about really keeping that back flat as much as you can. So what I want you to do today is bend your legs big time for your forward fold. Hold it right there. My hands are just resting onto my thigh bones for right now. And then try to lift your tail up towards the ceiling even more. And then from there, maybe you walk the hands down the legs. And feel how that's gonna help, again, work into your back versus pull into your back. So now we're working versus pulling. And this is the perfect time right here to introduce your blocks. So carefully, with control, keep the back flat and start to lift all the way back up to your standing position there. Grab your blocks, and I want you to use the tallest side maybe is what we use today, okay? We find that same forward fold again. So you're gonna bend the legs, hinge forward, and then lift the tail up. Then bring your hands onto the yoga blocks and hold it right there. Now from here, maybe you could start to straighten out the legs a little bit more. But once that back starts to want to round again is where we stop, okay? So you're just reaching, and I just want you to hold this. Working with the blocks is so helpful. Again, if you have more space to work with, you can make them a little shorter for yourself. We can even flatten them all the way down, but this is a good spot right here. And what this does too, a lot of the times when our backs are really tight, it's because our hamstrings are really tight. And in order to actually open up the back, you have to open up those hamstrings. And it doesn't work the other way around. So this is what we gotta do. We gotta open up those hamstrings by flipping the hips up towards the sky. One more breath here. And then carefully bring those hands back onto your thigh bones. And then lift the chest all the way back up. Now let's take that same idea and come down to the mat and work that. Okay. You can take those yoga blocks off to the side for now. And now we do a seated forward fold. So think about the same idea here. I want you to hold onto your thigh bones and lift your chest up. So that way you have that nice long spine. Now you keep that chest lifted and start to hinge forward, trying to connect your chest to your thigh bones. So wrap those hands around and lift up. Maybe your legs are super bent in. That's fine. That's where I want you to start out, okay? Find wherever it works for you. Get that lift lift. And then whatever's easier for you. My mat's nice right here, so I can start to reach my heels out and keep my back lifted. And you're gonna slowly start to reach and keep lifting up. Now, yes, you're gonna probably get a little bend in your back, but it's not where it's pulling into it. You can see that difference right there of me like, oh yes, I can get my chest all the way down. I wanna keep my chest lifted and pulling forward. And then maybe those feet walk out a little further. And again, this helps open up the hamstrings, helps open up your back, all the while still working into there as well. One more breath right here. And then carefully come all the way back up, lifting up that spine today. And then from here, we're gonna take those blocks behind us next and work our downward facing dog stretch. So you can kind of place those towards the back edge of your mat. And a lot of the times what happens in downward dog too is that we wanna like really reach our heels down and we start to round into the back again here. So it's another great space to really work to lift the hips up, to work and open up the back. So I want you to find your heels on your blocks. You'll walk your hands out and then keep a bend in the knees big time today. Now from here, flip the tail up and stretch out there. Feel the arm bones wrapping around, and maybe you start to slowly straighten out the legs, but again, keep working that flip of those hips up towards the sky. Feel those abs pulling in and up the whole time. One more breath right here. And then carefully come back down towards those knees, and then sit those hips back again. And then slowly start to round yourself back up. And then we're gonna take one of those blocks and lie all the way down onto your back. From here, lie all the way down, and we're gonna do your ab series next here. So I want you to take your block, it feels good to lie down on that back, and lift your hips up and place the block underneath your tailbone tush area. Now, make sure that it's not in your low back, it's in the tailbone tush area. And I have my block the shorter way, so it kind of takes up more of my seat there versus the long way. And then you get to hold onto your block, and then bring one knee into your chest, and then bring the other knee into your chest. And you should feel again like this kind of like a little bit of opening up in your low back, even right there. Now we're gonna work your core all the while not putting your body into too much flexion so your back gets to just, not pull as much or as easily. Now from here, keep your right knee in, extend your left leg out, hold it right there, and then try to pull that knee closer in towards your nose with your abdominals. And then you just switch the legs. And then we just switch and switch and keep going there, in and in. So now we're taking out the flexion here, right? We're not curling the head and chest up, but you're still having to connect to that core. And you're getting into every layer of that abdominal wall still right here because you're having to really wrap and hug in on those abs. One more set here, in, and then bring both knees in. You can always adjust a little if you need to. I feel like I need to come down a little bit there. From here, we do double leg stretch. So your legs are gonna lengthen out to your challenging angle, only as far as you can still feel like the ribs are pulling down towards the mat. The ribs might not be touching, but you feel that pulling down and you're supporting your back. And then you bend right back in. And again, you reach it away and pull back in. And you reach and in. And as you pull those legs in, imagine someone's trying to pull your heels away from you as you're pulling those knees into your chest. Go for 2 more. Last one. Then you lengthen the legs straight up towards the ceiling. Now, having the block also helps be able to lengthen your legs straight up, but if it's still pulling on the hamstrings too much and pulling into your back, then go ahead and turn this out a little bit and give me a little bent leg. We go for your scissors like this. So you can keep the bent leg. Reach one leg towards you as the other leg lowers down. Now from here, that top leg does that little kick, kick, and then you scissor switch it. You kick, kick, and switch. And I'm going to start to lengthen my legs out. Kick, kick. And again, this is my favorite way. Any day my back is feeling like a little tight, anything like that, I still get to get my core work in like this, keeping my body out of too much flexion and still working. That yoga block is perfect for this. Go for 2 and 2. Last set, 1 and 1. And then you bring both legs up again. Again, if you need that bent leg, go for it. From here, we do your lower lift. So we're going to lower the legs down in 3 counts, and we lift up in 1. So you lower the legs down for 3, 2, hold it right there. I want you to really feel that the body scooping in and up those abs. And then we lift up in 1 count. Again, abs are pulling in as you lower. 2, 1, lift up in 1. Again, 3, 2, 1, and up. 2 more. 2, 1, up. Last one here. 3, 2, 1, and up. And then bend those legs in. And stay right here. Keep the knees pulled in. And we're just going to circle the knees around. And around. That should feel good on your back, on your hips. Hold it at the top. Reverse your circles. Over and around. Lower those feet down. Lift those hips up. Take the block out from underneath you and then just come back down onto your mat. It feels good to get off the block there as well. Okay, so from here, go ahead and carefully roll to one side, especially when our backs are tight. Easiest way to get up. And then press yourself all the way up. Now we're going to work into a little bit of those hamstring stretches here still too with your half splits. Now again, a trickier spot where you're going to have to feel that length in your back. Okay, so I have my blocks in front of me. I'm on my knees. And then go ahead and reach one leg out through the blocks. Now right here, I want you to bend the knee a lot. Lift the chest up. And I'd rather see that than starting to pull into here, right? So if those blocks need to come up again, guess what? They come up and you hold it here. And if you're feeling good, you start to lengthen that leg out. Again, try to open up the hamstring, open up the insertion point of where your glutes and your hamstring meet, and that'll help open up the back. Keep those shoulders down. And really important here to keep those hips squared off. So whatever leg is in front, pull that hip back as the other hip is wrapping forward. Feel the inner thigh of that top leg and the back leg hugging towards your midline. One more breath here. And then go ahead and bring that leg down and through. We bring the other leg forward. And you're always going to have that tighter side. So again, listen to your body of what that feels like, what that means, and how do we open that up a little bit more on that side. So you want to pull the opposite hip back again. The front leg, you pull that hip back. Wrap the other hip forward. Find that length in that tail. Abs are pulling in. And the more you can flex through that foot, the bigger that stretch is going to get. And also feel the top leg hip, the forward leg hip, pulling down towards the mat too. One more breath here. And then go ahead and bring that leg through. Take the blocks off to the side. Sit back into a quick child's pose there. And then carefully start to round and stack your spine all the way up right there. Now, a lot of the times when the back is tight, yes, we talk about the hamstrings and the glutes being tight, but also that quad and psoas can easily pull into your back. So let's open that up a little bit more today too. So you're going to take one of your blocks the long ways and the flattest way. And then you rest your hip onto the block. And then just find that position first. Your hands are going to help prop you up at first, and then you're going to reach back for that foot and start to stretch out that quad. And lift that chest up still. And just breathe into this. Now that block is also pressing down on that quad, so it's doing a little bit of breaking up that fascia. And then carefully bring that down. Press yourself up. Take the block over to the other side of the mat. Lie back down on that block. And that block's pretty much hitting like right above my hip bone and then down the quad. And then from there you reach back. Oh, yep. And you stretch out that quad there. Also helps if there's any pulling on your knees to do these quad stretches. Keep pressing up. You're still in this work. You're not sinking down towards that mat. One more breath here. And then carefully bring it down, sit back, and then one of my favorite things to do here, should be good with one block here. You're going to take a seat on your block, and then just lengthen your legs out. So a lot of the times, if we were just flat on the mat, it's so hard to sit up tall. And I want you to use the block to make more space to lift out of your back. You know, you might still bend your knees here, and that's okay. So I want you to find that lifted spine. And then maybe those legs start to lengthen out all the way to straight. Maybe they don't today. Maybe it's like, nope, that's too much. If you feel like your back just sunk down, maybe you hold one of those thigh bones and lift up tall again. And then hold it there. You're going to reach your arms out to a T position, and we do your spine twist. So sitting up nice and tall, try to keep the hips nice and still, which easy way to just manage that is to watch your heels. If the heels start to like shift at all, it means the hips have. So from here, you lift and twist to one side. You twist a little deeper for 3, deeper 2, deeper 1, and then you come back to center. And again, you lift up tall, twist to the opposite direction. Twist again for 3, 2, 1, back to center. And again, lift and twist. Keep those heels still. 3, 2, 1, and center. And lift and twist. 3, 2, 1, center. Last set. Reach and lift and twist. And back to center. And one more right here. Lift and twist. 3, 2, 1, center. And then lower those arms down. Roll those shoulders back. And let's take one last back opener together right here. So you get to lie back down onto your mat. You take the block. Now this is going to be completely up to you with where you want to go with it. It's going to go underneath that tailbone tush area again, but we're trying to go to a taller space. So I'm kind of like in the middle of how my block is, right? It could be flat if your back's really, really tight here, or if that back's pretty open, you can go here. So maybe your back opened up a lot today. Yay, I'm cool with that. If not, it might be find a good spot right here. So I'm right by my tailbone tush area. Again, not towards my low back or anything. And I just want you to flip your palms up. Your feet are just pressing down into the ground. And then even right here, you can kind of press your tailbone a little bit, play with it like down, pressing down into that block. And just a few more breaths here to let your back open up one last time today. One more breath here. And then carefully lift those hips up a little higher. Take the block out from underneath you. Place it down. Carefully roll to one side again. Press yourself all the way back up. Maybe you can cross those legs in front of you. Just find a comfortable position to sit. And from here, roll those shoulders back. Lift up tall through that spine one last time. Inhale, reach those arms up. Exhale, circle those arms around. Roll those shoulders back. And I hope that back is feeling a little better after all of that work today. Awesome job. I'm Jenny Del Pozo, your